to reintroduce myself.
I always note, like with your daily comics, school, like newspaper cartoonists,
cool.
It's that ability to say something important, say something current, something that's happening now, but to be sort of a step sideways, to be like there's finding humor in it or finding a unique perspective, or like sometimes humor is just surprise, and it's just, here's a surprising perspective on this matter that you didn't know someone was going to write about or capture this or even mention. But just that ability to play with meaning where things really do matter, and yet have a kind of detached, ironic, playful, humorous take on it, or surprising take, is just a fantastic tradition of like old school cartooning that we don't really have anymore because we don't have newspapers the same way. But yeah, like the way you capture your diary, like because it's a daily slice of life vibe, it's always got that ability, and there's always like I just also love the way that you're just writing about you and your life and your thoughts and capturing that moment. But because of the universal elements of art, everyone reading it can identify and say, yeah, can find the connection and put it through their own filter. So I just love that quality you have. Like it's a lightness and a deftness, but it's meaningful,
That's real nice of you to say. Well, yeah, it's a funny one with these diary comics because I made them like sort of 10 years ago. I made them for a couple of years during my doctorate, and they always had like a small core band of friends who would sort of like, because I put them online, a core of people that would sort of comment and like and stuff, but it was not like getting famous by a long stretch. But more recently, so I started again this year, and I thought like I don't want to just sort of say every day, it's not a literal diary, like I didn't want to just say like here's something that happened. So I'm always like, and also to entertain myself, I'm like looking for some variety, so yeah, it's and I'm obvious, I'm sort of like aware that people are reading these, and I want them to enjoy it and for it to resonate. But yeah, sometimes I wonder if like the best way to connect with people and get like ultimately, you like as an artist, like I don't really identify with that term, but like as someone who makes images and stuff and wants to get them out there and bases a career on that, you want them to spread and proliferate, and so like you've got to connect with people, and I think like I haven't hit on the formula yet, but the less I'm finding that like the less I'm censoring myself, and the more I'm just like thinking out loud about stuff that's going through my head, and often it's like stuff that triggers like something will happen in the day, and I'll be thinking about
something upsetting.
Yeah, or like why did this get more likes than the other thing, or the other day we saw a butterfly in the middle of winter, and we're like, oh, that's probably not good, like it's just a sign of like climate stuff. So every day, and then I just go, okay, I'm just gonna talk about something about this on the comics, and yeah, it's fun. It gives me this every day, like, okay, I've got to draw something, on paper, and it's nice. Like I get a lot of feedback now, like, and people are connecting, and then I go, okay, like this, because sometimes, like you get a bit negative with social media, and you go like, what's the point? But I think like the more I use it, then sometimes I go, actually, it is nice. People are out there. They're kind of like connecting and engaging and reaching out, and so it's kind of cool. Yeah,
that's great. I think it's one of the best abilities that an artist of any medium has, which is like having faith in like going inside and internal to just concentrate on their stuff, their perspective, and having faith that it will communicate and connect. Like there's no art without someone to watch it and to hear it and see it and witness it. Like it's such a community binding thing or agitating thing, but like the best, like, and I'm still trying to find this as a writer and creator, but the people who create at a high level in my life, they are just fantastic at having faith that their personal thing that they want to do or say will have appeal and it will find an audience and connect out there. But if all you're doing is worrying about the connection, you're just not going to make something compelling, So it's as in so many parts of our lives, like the less we try or the less we think about it and preoccupy ourselves about it, the more it comes to us in a flow, in a kind of, the more we can master things, the less we're consciously trying to think of it. Like we do just need to like ease back and sort of do our practice without overthinking every step.
Yeah, and it's like 100% agree. Like for me, that's true. I've got to just sort of, that's why I did my doctorate in autobiographical comics, like just to talk about, this stuff. But it's also true that if you just want to, reach a wide audience and stuff, there's, it doesn't hurt to pander to like the current trends. And I remember like a guy in the Australian comic scene like years ago just started doing like My Little Pony stuff. And he was he was like sort of well known before that, but then he just exploded. He was getting invited to all the conventions and he really became synonymous. And I don't know if he, like, maybe he loves My Little Ponies, but it seemed like, it's possible, but it seemed like if that was his strategy, it really worked. But then, like I go like, what if I just pin all my horses on the next thing and start making, art that I just hate, and then it doesn't take off anyway. So, yeah, I don't even know.
Well, the worst thing would be if it does take off and then you're stuck with it.
Yeah,
having
well, that's
to
true.
keep doing something that you already hated before you started it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so it's like balancing, just kind of trying to make sure that I'm staying true to what's inside and keep myself entertained and enjoying it, but also going, okay, people are going to look at this. I can't just rant about, like I can't go full Robert Crumb and but I also,
that guy didn't care.
He didn't care, yeah, and it worked for him. And he was also, it's like brilliant artwork, and he was like right time and right place, this sort of like counterculture stuff. But I also can't just like make comics just that are completely pedestrian, like, oh, today I went for a ride and it was cold and stuff. Like, I think sometimes those things are okay, but other times it's like, okay, like what's inside me at the moment, and that I feel is important, like that I want to talk about, and then try and get that out, in 6 panels or less.
Well, that's what I like. What you choose to focus on, it as I said, it has that element of surprise. It has that. It's curated. It's curated through, you're experiencing your everyday life, and yet you've picked out something that is worth doing a comic about that day. And that's, I can really see like the structure of a great practice there, like, and just you've honed your mind. And like when you read one of your comics, which will be, showing a bunch that you're happy to share, like while we've been having this convo, and people will be able to see that by doing this and having the practice of it, you've honed a perspective, a view, like probably if I could tell your visual style, but I could probably also tell, like if someone told me about a comic, I could probably go, oh, that sounds like Darren.
Right.
Like it was like one of these 5 is Darren. I reckon I could pick it.
Okay. Yeah. I also like have this thought that like, oh man, what if I just run out of ideas? I think when you just say it's a diary comic, it's just whatever's happened that day. It takes the pressure off. Yeah, I don't think it will happen, but like I just started, like I said, this practice because I wasn't drawing actually. And I really think that
after you moved,
just more recently, like I was only drawing on the tablet as well, my iPad, and then I was like, oh man, I miss drawing on paper. So, but I really think that I'm just writing a book chapter actually at the moment. It's about to finish it off, and it's about that. I think that diary comics are really like beneficial for people to do, like, and anyone can do them. Like just use stick figures and stuff, but it comes back to, I think, what I was saying about like this power of like distilling sort of things and emotions and memories into images. So like it's good for me, and you don't have to put them online, you can just do them. But yeah, it's a good little practice. And so like think more people could like try it, at least, because everyone's got interesting stuff going on in their lives, and a lot of us don't even we don't probably like have a diary even at all, so.
I think it's great to just have an outlet or a form, something you're comfortable with, a way of like noticing your own life as it goes by, like a way of reaching out and connecting with someone else. Like, there's so many different ways to do it. And I think it's a good thing to do. Like, you don't even need an audience. I think it's good to work on your own expression and just have a practice that you do. I think that's fantastic stuff. And then learning not to, it doesn't come easily to me, but learning not to be self-conscious about judging what I've produced. That's key. That's key. I mean, that's like a path. That's a torture path to hell. Like, it's way better not to do that. But it's like the kind of thing that you want to be able to analyze and make good decisions based on analyzing where you're at. But like, for example, I don't shoot video because I'm not good enough yet. So I like podcasting. That's my happy spot. So that took some analysis to be like, yep, that's not good enough. This other stuff is good enough. This other stuff works really well. But I think it's great for everyone to have a practice, especially when like modern life, cost of living, economy pressures, like there's a lot of pressure to the way we live. And another great thing that comes out of your research is just like the therapeutic element of doing drawing and what it does to your brain and stuff.
Well, you a couple of years ago, you helped me with this paper for a journal that I wrote. Was about this topic. Yeah, you really saved me on the introduction there. But it was about that. Like, because I taught at university for so many years, and I had a few students who like they go through like 3 years, and even students that like led a team in the final year in animation it was, and they led a team, they created a short film, all this stuff, and then at the end they're like, I'm flat, I'm completely tapped out, I've got no more creativity. And I think it was like this constant, like, because we had, every week or something, there's like reviews and critical feedback and stuff. And and I think a lot of people have that. It's just like, it becomes so arresting and completely like, like they can't just be free anymore because they're always like judging themselves too harshly. And I think like, of course, there's a place for sort of critical assessment of the work, but I think that comes after, like you've made the thing and then you have a look at it, you go, okay, what could I do better? And then do it, like try and implement that for the next thing. But if you're doing that, like, if you're like, it's like, if you're trying to have a conversation and then you're just like thinking at the same time, oh, am I sounding stupid? You'll just, you will sound, like it's like that. So you have to just go, okay, while I'm making this thing, I'm just going to like let it flow. And then, and then at the end you can have a look and go, okay, this could be better or that better, but don't beat yourself up, like, and go, okay, like next time I'll get like a bit better or try something different. So
that's right.
I actually like that a lot. Just quickly, like working on paper is really liberating because you go, okay, God, I put too much ink down there, but it's there now. So got to live with it. You can't, like that's a nice thing. Like digital, you just go back or you erase it, but with paper you're stuck with it. And then you go, okay, like I have to live with that. How it is.
I always make too many marks. I'm never as minimalist as I want to be.
Oh, okay. I think that's not a bad
I saturate the image a bit too much. But with my writing, like when I'm drafting, I'm not editing. Like editing is, I'll sit down and be like, I'm editing now, but I won't edit while I draft. Otherwise, I'll rewrite the same piece of paper, same 500 words again and again.
So you got like two separate stages, like that you break it down.
Yeah, almost. And it's funny, like they're just like, it's just in terms of habit, in writing habit and practice, but actually it's sort of developed into like, they're like two different people, they're two different Lukes who just have different ideas about writing. Like one has the ideas that he needs to create and get happening, and is like overly optimistic, and is a bit of like harnessing a bit of bimbo energy. And then the editor is like a lot more of like a grizzled, furrowed brow person. It really does feel like two different people. And the person who drafts isn't me in my day-to-day life either.
Yeah, right.
So it really has like hardened into these personas. But I find separating those things out. And then the third one is actually just switching off, like knowing I've got to a certain point and actually switching off and doing something else, because letting the brain refresh and reset, that being an important part of creating too.
It's so interesting because I just have this I think that's a comic actually, like the bimbo Luke and the grizzled Luke. That's gonna be a diary comic maybe, but it's
I feel like if any of my exes listening to that would be like, yes, I've met them.
Yeah, but because I like when I'm editing, I can't help also writing, and it's like the like they get sort of mixed together almost. Like I can't just sort of edit and cut stuff out. I'm like, oh, then I have to write something here, and then so it's like happening kind of together there with writing for me. Maybe that's why I'm not so good at writing.
But you know, cartoons, like there's writing in cartoons, right? There's a place for text in the visual image.
Yeah,
It's important storytelling.
There's a Australian cartoonist I think is awesome. His name's Pat Grant, and he just thinks of drawing as another form of writing, and you know, if you're into semiotics and stuff, you might find parallels there. But yeah, he calls drawing like another form of scribing or something. He goes like, yeah, it's another form of script.
Pat Grant.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, check him out.
Oh, that's great to know. Well, Pat Grant sounds to me like the name of someone who should be on like a Nutrigrain commercial or something.
Yeah, right. It sounds like a tennis player.
I'm drawing, but I'm actually writing. Crunch, crunch.
Yeah, you got to
get
nice
zoom to his face.
Yeah, he did like this really cool comic about his dad, like this relationship with his dad. And then halfway through drawing the comic, his dad passed away, and it became this sort of like dealing with that. It was, oh man, you could see as well like the emotion on the page and his line work and stuff. Man. Yeah, it was really good.
Oh, there's a topic I'll never cover. There's no way. There's no way I would just be like, here's my comic thoughts on my relationship with my father. Like, there's no fucking chance.
I'm actually waiting for my parents pass away. I can start making some comics about that. But
yeah,
I mean,
I'm not writing about my family.
Yeah. It's, you know, like you have to be careful because like when you're talking about real life, people can go, hey, that's me. And so there are like that consideration to think about a little bit.
Yeah, especially when you're doing, I mean, that's a good thing about your daily reflections as well. They are about your life, but that's not you. It's the transitory connection with the world, things you're seeing, things you're observing. It's not like your deep, dark memoir. Like, today I sat in my lounge room in the dark for 6 hours and thought about when I was 11. Like, it's not you know, you're saying things about yourself, but it's, you know, it's appealing. It's the transitory stuff. It's the quotidian elements that everyone can identify with. Yeah.
I think I wrote a title for because I just started a new book for that, and then I wrote a title in the book and I called it Thinking Through Inking. And it's basically what it is. I'm going to have a little rhymey rhyme. But yeah.
Oh, please. That made me so happy.
Yeah.
That had the German, what's the German word again?
Einfach. Easy.
Einfach. Yeah, I felt einfucked in that moment because of the just the simple beauty of the rhyming title.
Yeah, in German that would be like denken durch zeichnen, which is not quite as snappy, but it's also kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh, isn't that amazing? Like when you put it into German, it's all of a sudden a lot less snappy.
Yeah. You would have thought.
These 17 syllables, they really don't go together as well as the 3 syllables in English bit.